like,
Great.
like, all right. Okay, and we have liftoff. Thank you for tuning into the Planet Guardian podcast. We're your hosts, Anita and Robbie, and we're so glad to have you back for a special 2-year anniversary podcast for Kep1er's second anniversary being together. Let's have a round of applause for Kep1er.
Yay.
We thought since we introduced ourselves to you guys through Girls Planet that we should do something fun, kind of have an anniversary and talk our mess while we transition to Chuang, Asia, Thailand for our next project. Thought we should go back on memory lane and talk about Girls Planet, talk about the contestants, where is Kep1er now, their songs, their concepts, just our mess. And if you follow us on Twitter or any of our socials, you know we got things to say. So, Anissa, I'll let you kick it off.
Wow. I don't even know where to start.
Should we start with, let's just start with how we felt from like each mini album,
Oh,
like the
like each title
title,
track.
and then maybe like a standout B-side and just where our thoughts are. Let's just let that be the guide.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Okay. So, I did write down like all of the Korean title tracks. I guess I can read them off and then we can just go from there. But yeah,
Yeah.
so obviously they debuted with WADADA, and
I don't even know
after
how to do the dance
WADADA,
anymore.
and then I think it was after their appearance on Queendom, their first comeback was Up.
Yes.
Yeah. And then following that, I believe was We Fresh, and then
Yeah.
Giddy 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 Giddy. And their most recent title track was Galileo. Should we just talk about each of them? I really don't know.
Yeah, let's just talk about each of them.
All
So,
right.
so WADADA was on
Mhm.
the first mini album, First Impact,
Yeah.
and the track I don't, and it's probably not gonna be in order, but it was See the Light,
Mhm.
WADADA, Mask, um,
I think they re-recorded
oh
Oh
yeah,
Oh.
oh Kep1er version, and Hello Baby, Shake It Baby,
Hmm.
Shine,
Oh,
and
right. Yeah.
then Another Dream, Kep1er version.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. I know that mini really well because like that they to this day they have
Mhm.
not topped it.
I agree, actually. I think it's because, in my opinion, See the Light is their best song ever. So that's why I'm like, okay, I don't think they were going to top that. And I mean, they
Conflicting
haven't topped.
opinions.
Yeah. I mean, especially in terms of B tracks for me, I think See the Light is one of their best songs.
I
Yeah.
like it, but when I think, okay, here's how I feel. With First Impact, See the Light should have been a full song because it's like an intro. It's like a minute and some change.
Yeah, that's what it is. You know what I mean?
Really, so you're okay with it being that length and
Yeah.
still being the best? Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I mean, if it was a full song, it would be nice, but like some artists do like album intros, and
Right.
like I know Hyuna has a song like Run and Run or something like that. It's also an album intro, and she's just rapping of like one verse or something. And I'm like, setting the mood for the album. I can appreciate it for what it is. It would have been nice if it was a full song, but an intro is an intro. So
Got it.
yeah.
For me, and everyone knows this about me, anyone who remotely, even if they're like, 5 feet just removed, I personally believe Mask should have been the debut song. And let's just get into it, all right?
Hmm.
Wadada was a poor choice for a debut. And the thing is, they went into this, they say Teen Crush, but it was very, I feel like they didn't know what they wanted to do because the landscape of K-pop for girl groups was shifting at that time. Like
Hmm.
there was IVE and Seraphim and all this and that coming into the forefront, and then New Jeans. And
Well,
I think, go ahead.
I've debuted, but Le Sserafim and New Jeans debuted last year, so it was
Right, you're
already a
right.
year.
Right. So like I was coming in, you're correct. I'm just saying that was like that time period.
Yeah.
And like you could I bring them up to say, and thank you for correcting me. like you could see the shift.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the bigger companies, I mean, including Starship at the time, like knew that they had to go in a different direction from Girl Crush or Teen Crush or whatever.
I
And I
mean,
don't,
also their fans like rallied.
yeah, 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 correct. And I feel like Awake One didn't really get the memo. And it's surprising that they didn't get it because like they're part of Mnet. Like they have a bird's eye view over things. So I don't know why they didn't go in another direction. And what bothers me about it is that the peak of Girl Crush, when IZ*ONE debuted, they went left. And that was so smart. So I
Yeah.
feel like why did they not take a chance and be like, you know what, we see that it's going in something else, let's go left.
I think that even though personally I think WADADA is an okay song,
Yeah.
I think the reason why it got so big is because people were just curious about the next Mnet group after IZ*ONE. So and then it's
Yeah.
a catchy enough song that it's gonna be a hit pretty much. But I kind of agree with you. I'm not sure why Mnet, like in the past, they were part of the trend setters
Mm-hmm.
in debut groups rather than following trends. And I think that's one of the mistakes that they made with Kep1er, that they were following trends too late,
Yes.
particularly like especially when they dropped Oh Giddy, because Giddy is the song that had the anti-drop in it. And
Yeah.
they dropped that song when anti-drops were like
Was done.
trending out. Like it was basically done.
Yes.
It was done.
Yes.
And I was just like, this song would have been a hit around the time that aespa dropped I think Savage. I think the song
Right.
would have done great. Like, and that was probably only like 6 months before, but that's
But
when it was on its way down.
yes, yes. And it was funny because La Seraphim debuted with an anti-drop song. So I bring them up to say like the landscape was shifting.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like whoever is in charge of the A&R for Kep1er, because it's definitely not the same team for IZ*ONE. It's just very
Yeah, for
obviously
sure.
not. Like I feel like they're missing the mark every
Mm-hmm.
time. And when I bring how Mask should have been like the start, and I feel like Mask was such a strong song that
Mm-hmm.
they were like, maybe not. But like I feel like Kep1er should have been the mirror parallel opposite in a way of IZ*ONE. Like how bright and floral IZ*ONE was in that elegant sense.
Mm-hmm.
And they did do like I feel like they could have kept certain elements, but been like we're edgier and dark, mysterious, planetary, intergalactic,
Yes.
and still kept that techno house, you know, electric dance type thing,
Mm-hmm.
but just transitioned it for that vibe. And I feel like Mask like excelled in that level. And
Mm-hmm.
into thinking, and this is me as an artist, like thinking the purple coloring, the dark, the take off the mat. I mean, you know, they could have done so much with that
Yeah.
song as a story, as them being aliens and you know them wearing masks to show the real self and then I don't know, I just feel like it was stronger. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like there was a story being told there. I don't know what they're talking about in WADADA.
WADADA is like about chasing your dreams or something like that, which is fine. I
Yeah,
think me and you pretty much share the same thoughts on them. Like they didn't really know what
what they
concept they
wanted,
wanted.
right?
And in my opinion, I feel like they finally figured it out, but too late, you know?
Way too late.
Too
But the
late. And then the
concept,
songs aren't good enough.
yes, and the
Or
concept that they have now are. Here's how I feel about them. Kep1er are mid girls living in a middle America city, living their life. Like I feel like they are the pretty hometown girls of Cleveland, Ohio for
mm-hmm.
K-pop.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to anyone living in Cleveland, Ohio. I just feel like they are the pretty Boston girl. Like Boston's a bigger city than Cleveland, but I'm just saying like they're just mid girls. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I was watching. I was watching This Is Us, and they called the mom who's a singer like Pittsburgh good, and I feel like that's
Mm.
Kep1er. That's
Yeah.
Kep1er. Like they are in a city that's like and like they're good mid girls.
Yeah.
And I sucks because not all of them are mid girls, which is also to their detriment because there's like 5 concepts going on in that one group.
In the beginning, there were multiple concepts. I think now they know, but it's too late.
But the thing is, individual members have their own vibe. And we've talked about this. And they'll probably throw tomatoes at us, but we're going to speak the truth. Daeyoung and Hikaru are the only ones that will film consistently together. There's a reason. They match each other.
Yeah.
Xiaoting normally does her own thing.
They are always trying to pair her with Yujin and Bahiyyih, I think.
Because of the height. But
yeah, because they're basically like the tall ones.
They look good together, but they don't match each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's very odd. And and I feel like it's Mnet's fault as well, because they were trying to rig it in their own way. They didn't do it the right way. And I feel like they figured out later, like too late, like, man, we should have made this team cohesive.
I think they had a cohesive team in mind, but they were still trying to figure out how they're going to rig it. And that's why I always say they mastered rigging with Boys Planet. And I say that not because they literally rigged Boys Planet, but because they know the little things that they need to do to manipulate the show to get what they want. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like it's not a coincidence that the people who ended up in the debut line did,
got
you know?
In. The only free radical that they didn't expect, but they're okay with, was Ricky. I will say that.
Oh, they absolutely didn't want Ricky in there.
They did not want Ricky. They wanted, and to be honest, I feel like, I'm not sure. I think they wanted Jay. That's the honest truth. Because you know what's funny? Jay is on another Mnet show.
I think they wanted Jay. However, they have preferences. They have their own ranks 1 to 9.
Oh, yeah.
And at the end of Boys Planet, the finale, it was between Jay and Tay, and they're going to choose Tay over him. And that's why they showed the interim ranking.
Right, but they didn't, but I think they wanted to replace Ricky with Jay. Oh,
no, it just wasn't going to happen.
It wasn't going to happen out of popularity. I'm just saying, in their head, they had an idea. And I saw the advertisement for this. This is a Girls Planet podcast, but we're going to talk about Boys Planet too, because they're brother sister shows, you know?
Yeah.
They were like, oh, it's Jay. Oh. They gave Jay his own moment in the advertisement for this new singing show. It's like they're singing ballads or something. And it just goes to show, because Mnet will bring you back to something that they're doing if they like you. Same thing for So Young from G Idol. They brought her for, what was that, Unpretty, right after Producer 101 season 1.
And I think Wumuti is also on their new show. They're like making a boy group, singing group, something like that.
You know, I would like Wumuti to be on a show like Aerie was, when they were just like traveling around. It was like foreign girls go travel around Korea and be cute. Like they're like foreign schoolgirls from different countries. And Aerie from Produce48 was there. And I feel like that'd be cute for him. Like a variety show where he has other foreign people, and then at the end of it, they do a song. Not saying I don't want him to be an idol. I just feel like
he would fit that.
He would fit that.
And he would, yeah. But back to Girls Planet.
Anyway. We have our thoughts.
We always do. Yeah, Girls Planet, they were trying to manipulate, but I think they just didn't realize the potential and what they had to do to make it work. And I think the best example of that is Bahiyyih being on the show. They clearly wanted her on Girls Planet to get views, but they didn't want her in Kep1er. And to this day, they still treat her like trash.
What's funny, if they didn't have the idea of, we want this rough killer aespa-like group, because I think that's what they wanted, like an aespa spicy thing. if this was like a feminine, or even this, even though she was too young, if somehow we had a uh multiverse occurrence and Bahiyyih was on Produce 101 season 1, she would have ate that season up. She fits that concept.
Yeah.
And I never shared this, but I just categorized each group. IOI's concept was basically the youth of a female, like like encapsulating fleeting youth.
I can see that, especially with Dream Girls with their debut.
And it matched the fact that they only had a year. It was just like fleeting youth. Like you only have it for a very limited time, and the youth of a young girl. Not that they were young girls, they were like, some of them were like 18, 19. But you know what I'm saying, like that moment in the life for a young woman. Like that's how I perceive it. Then IS1 was not the same. IS1 was like a fantasy, like very floral, the beauty. It was just they're again, I don't know why they didn't keep the same team for either one for them. And I don't know how many of the team was from the AKB side too. But nevertheless, back to the point being, Bahiyyih would have excelled in anything else but just this show. She excelled because they're fans. We know what the fans did, the phones and the SIM cards, and you know, they got it together, and the TXT and the BTS, and like she just had a fan base that understood. And then to her advantage, the island people already went through this before with their voting, so they knew exactly what they had to do to get her into the group. Now we already knew if her only competition was Doa.
I think it's not about the island voting. It's not about using the SIM cards and blah blah blah. I just think straight up, because I'm just saying this because you keep saying, oh, the cards and the island voting. I don't think it has anything to do with that. I think straight up, her brother, TXT fans, BTS fans, just straight up, there was enough of them to carry her to the finale.
And you think that was just the end of it?
That was enough. That was enough. That's all they needed.
But do you think that with like that element, along with them understanding how to vote, do you think that like added to it or no?
Yes, but in the way that like when I was crazy about Chuang and I was voting for Feifei, I wasn't just voting on my phone. I also like used my iPod and downloaded We TV or whatever to vote. And then I asked my fiance if I can use his phone to vote.
Oh yeah, I did the same thing.
I think it's the same concept. Like if I'm voting for Richie and I only have 2 devices and I'm one person, but Bahiyyih has 100 of her brother's fans and they all have another person's device that they can use.
So
it's
it was
that
just
concept.
inevitable. Got it.
Exactly.
I think that has a very big impact too. And I get what you're saying. And like adding that along with all the other things that we've just said, like it was a no-brainer. And
I think she had 2 competitions, kind of looking back. I think one was Doa and the other one was also Myah. Just because I know that there's definitely a group of K-pop fans who are like white. I'm just gonna straight up say it. They're white and they have a Korea Blue fantasy.
They saw them in her. But do you think they preferred her over Myah over Bahiyyih? I mean, we saw how it turned out, so obviously not, but I mean, just from your opinion.
I think it didn't matter, but I think Bahiyyih in a sense would be more relatable just because she was kind of older. I think she was like 2 years older than Myah, 2 or 3 years maybe. And then she's taller. You know what I mean?
Phonetically, she just like phenotype wise, she just presents Euro.
Exactly. And also she just had like she was just getting more votes, I think.
Right.
So it's just easier to push for the one who's more likely to debut, pretty much.
To be honest, now mind you, Kep1er would have to be completely different and built around Bahiyyih. She would have been an it girl if they did this right.
But they didn't want her, and Kep1er fans didn't want her either. That's why there's so many OT8 fans.
But I just feel like if this was like a La Seraphim situation where they're like, we're starting with Sakura and we're building around this.
Yeah.
It like, you know what I mean? Like she could be, don't throw tomatoes at me. She could be the Wan Young of the Le Sserafim situation.
Mm-hmm.
Not like Wan Young of I's one, but Wan Young of Ive. You know?
I
But
think that like Kep1er was playing off of Chaehyun and Xiaoting pretty much being the centers, but I think it pretty much should have been all three. But Chaehyun more so out of respect because she is rank 1.
you know that they have there's a like drama and
Oh,
you
between
guys in the
Chaehyun and Xiaoting, absolutely.
yeah, and if
Those
you
two
guys in the
fandoms.
comments can kiki with us here there, but I read the Chinese fans love Chaehyun and they're like, y'all keep putting everybody else in the center but her, and we voted for her. And if you guys don't stop this nonsense, we're in. I will find it. I can if I can try. But
Mhm.
like they're like, if you guys don't stop this, we're not going to support because she should be in the center.
Chaehyun?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, she's rank 1. Isn't
It's just
that?
surprising that it was from the Chinese side. I
Mm,
was like, wow,
yeah.
and I was
Hmm.
just like, interesting. But she's not really, and I don't know if that was if she's choosing not to be. But to be fair, sorry guys, she doesn't really give off center energy.
I think that to me, this is the thing. If Xiaoting was not in the group, I think Chaehyun would be a good center actually, because when she's compared to the other girls, I just think that her voice and her face and her dancing is just the best. And when I think center, I think just someone who balances the group and also visually too. And I think Chaehyun kind of fits that concept. But because
It's hard.
Xiaoting is there,
Just that girl.
and she just has too much it girl energy. Like if Xiaoting was Korean, she looked exactly the same, but she was Korean. No doubt she would be the Won Young of the group, essentially.
Oh
She
yeah.
would be number 1. And it would be
Yeah.
just like in Produce 101 Japan, how Momona debuted and she had like a 300,000 vote gap. It
Yeah.
would be that would be Xiaoting's case if she was Korean, but she's
Got you.
Chinese. So
Right.
I think just with that, they should at least respect that Chaehyun's number 1. Like we can
Right.
say Xiaoting is a stand attractor and she's this and that and blah blah blah. Okay, she's number 2 or number 3, depending on which fandom you ask. She's that
Right.
person.
Girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man. So up.
Oh, right. uh
So up.
um
Such a departure from WADADA, don't you think?
yeah, and so I think the concept that they wanted to do and are leaning towards is kind of up, you know what I mean? Up in Galileo energy. And
Mm.
if that was the case, then I think they should have debuted with Up, you know, as the title track, because then I think that would be and like completely scrap WADADA. Like I'm thinking of Alter Universe. WADADA's completely
Like
scrapped.
a re-debut type, like Girls' Day, where they never talk about head tilt and it's always nothing lasts forever.
Yeah. I
I don't
think
know if you know the reference, but I was there for Girls' Day when they were like head tilt, and they were like, we're kicking out 3 girls, replacing them with new girls. This is our re-debut. We never will talk about head tilt. This is our new debut song.
it's giving Brave Girls. And
Oh,
it's funny that you even bring the whatever. I actually got into Brave Girls when they re-debuted. That's when I got into them. And I had no
which one
idea
was it?
that,
Deep End? Like
yeah, it
that
was
was when
Deep
they
End.
re-debuted. So many girl groups, they just like, and look, this other song wasn't us. This
Yes.
is actually us.
Yeah.
This like with Seraphim's like, look, we're re-debuting with this song. We are
Hmm.
re-debuting as 5 members,
Yeah.
right? This man. Uh, you know, it's just
But
interest. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
oh, no, you can go ahead. I can
It's just
continue my thought later.
interesting that they had full bloom make up. It sounds very much so like a Cosmic Girl song, and it's just very intriguing that they were on the same season of Queendom with Cosmic Girls,
Hmm.
and they won Cosmic Girls. So I feel like were they just like, oh, since this is working, should we go in this direction? I'm just curious because it seemed
Mm.
so different because I feel like Up in Galileo lives in one world, and then Wadada and We Fresh lives in its own
Yes,
world.
that's exactly what I was gonna say. Because I was gonna say if they debut with WADADA, then
They
We
should have
Fresh,
immediately go to We Fresh.
yes, would have been the
And it would have made
perfect
sense.
follow-up song.
Yep.
Exactly. But they did
Yep.
WADADA and then Up and then We Fresh and
And
then
then
I think
Galileo.
Giddy,
Oh,
I think
but
it was Giddy,
we are taking
Galileo.
out Giddy right
All
now.
right, remove Giddy. Giddy was cute. Let's ignore that. But WADADA is one thing, and then Up, and then We Fresh, and then Galileo. Like, if WADADA and Refresh followed up with each other, that would have been
Perfect.
great. If it was Up and Galileo, that would have been great. But they're just here and there and here and there is too much, and then you already have to deal with your fandom drama. Just be like IZ*ONE and make the same
The
song
same song
over and
over,
over and
over
over.
and over. And you know what? I ate up each time.
Me too.
It
Except for
was like
Panorama. I didn't like Panorama until like later.
until you had to do it.
Yeah, basically.
But no, when like you know what's funny? Even though those four songs like have their own thing,
Mhm.
Giddy doesn't fit into any of that, and yet it's my favorite title track from anything they've done.
Wow. I like
I
my favorite title tracks are We Fresh and Galileo.
I walk around and if the house or whatever, and I'm still do 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 do.
You're crazy because you know you didn't like that song until
I
KCON
I
when we
sure
were
didn't.
making exactly
I sure didn't.
when
That's
we
my
were making
process.
fun of
If
this song.
if I am ranking on it, eventually I'll like it. That is how I work through my situation.
But you're
I
right, I do like
ranked
this song now.
I ranked on what you know blah, blah, and I was like, where is he? And I ranked on Shake and Go, and they are the only two things I really remember from that show. And then I ranked on Sexy Dance, and to this day am enamored with her. Like
People who don't watch any podcast except for Girls Planet, they just missed out on a whole bunch of arcs. They were like, who are these people? Who's Sexy Dance? Who's this and that?
I commented on her almost every episode. I can do sexy dance. Love her. Hope to see her again. Island 2. Let's go. But
Mhm.
yes, Giddy is and it's not a great song. And certain parts are better than others. Like the pre-chorus is better than the verses.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the bridge is better than anything else. And I feel like those things should have been the prism. And the Russian lady that makes those songs, she doesn't always miss all the time. She killed it for Sweet Juice for Purple Kiss. She killed that
That's the
song.
same Russian lady?
That's the same Russian lady.
Wow. Yeah, because Sweet Juice is nice, but
She
I don't
did.
think
She
Kep1er
killed
could
it.
pull off Sweet Juice.
Heck no, that wasn't for them. That wasn't
Mhm.
for them at all. That's very Pussycat Dolls and very, 2000, 2010 vibe.
Mhm.
But I'm like, note to the Russian lady, I like you. I just want you to give Kep1er a better song. Like I know you're cooking up something for the next thing, but like, you know. Also, uh let's talk about their last comeback, the Korean one. Tape by Kep1er had half of the members, or like
Oh,
five
is
of the
that the
members.
Galileo album?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah,
all the
they had the
ones that
two
you
songs with
right,
the
all the girls you want was just in that song. And I'm like, why wasn't this the title track?
why would
Let's add the other five and let's do this. Or four or whatever.
I feel like people always say that about Kep1er songs because even I think in Giddy's album, Back to the
Back to
City
the
was the
city.
title track, and people or the B
Was a
track.
B
People were like,
track, yes.
why wasn't that the title track? And if
You
you look
know,
at Giddy performances and Back to the City performances, they look like they're having more fun Back to the City.
yes. And you know what's funny? Remember when we were in the high touch and they're like, sing back to the city. And I'm like,
They were yelling all types of things in the high touch. I don't know.
they wasted opportunities. But nevertheless, yes, definitely. Now, they are pushing the heck out of that race car song, that
Oh,
Japanese one.
the da, da, da.
Because I write it. I write whatever. Is that what it is?
Yes, Grand Prix.
Oh, I'm a grand.
Da, 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 da.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
stop torturing these boys in the backstage of Mnet, M Countdown. They're like, hey, you, get up in this Instagram real quick
Yeah,
so
they
we
got a
can.
lot of people to do that with them. I like that song. I feel like that's the one song that matches Giddy, but it's Japanese.
But the Japanese people, they eat Kep1er up.
Oh, and
There's
Wing Buzzin', yep.
oh,
I
Don't
do
talk about
you.
that song
What's
because
I
then
do?
you're gonna make me start missing Joa. We wasn't. But no, I do. That fits Galileo.
I do. Yeah. That's
They
why
was
I'm
all over the
saying
place.
that their concept is up, giddy, Galileo, the I do you, like that's their concept. And then they throw in other songs here and there. I'm just like, there was
Just to
no point.
surprise us.
Yeah, there's no point in WADADA, there's no point in Refresh. Like there was no point in these songs. Just stick with
No.
that sound because that's
You,
you. And
you
then
know
the
what?
thing that made me mad is that I really, really like We Fresh. So I
Mm-hmm.
thought because in my brain at the time when We Fresh dropped, I was like, oh, this is WADADA like
Part two.
vibes, but better.
Yes.
So I'm like,
Ah.
oh, this is their concept. And then they followed up with Giddy. And I'm like, what is this?
Meanwhile, I'm
Okay.
over here. Do.
What were you about to say though?
I forgot.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. No, you're totally fine. It's my fault. Nevertheless, man. So they only had one win, or like one song that won anything. WADADA.
Ooh.
I don't know if they've. You guys can correct me in the comments. I don't know if they won for Up.
When did Up? Okay, to be fair, when Up dropped, it was the summertime and like everyone in Queendom had their comeback.
It
And
was
that's
too much
on
competition.
top of I believe that is on top of is that when New Jeans debuted and I
Sure did.
and what's their name debuted? And I think I've dropped
Da
was
da
After
da
Like last year.
da
I
da.
think I believe After Like was last year around that time.
Oh yes,
So
it was you and I. It was that one.
yeah, they were
Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
not it was
It was
too
not happening.
competitive.
Two
Yeah.
not happening.
I feel like
Definitely.
every time Kep1er has a comeback, it's just not
They
good
always
time.
compete against someone that says it's not going to work out.
Yeah, yeah. Like it's
It's like when
already hard.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, you can go ahead.
It was like when Eyes One came out around BTS. I'm like, stop, stop, stop.
Wait, really? They did that?
I remember, you guys can correct me, but I was a big was one, and I was like, why, why are we doing this? And I feel like there was a
Oh,
gap
wow.
in the promotion, so they were able to win before the nonsense. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
great, we got it, great, good. We're not winning for this.
That's like
I
what
was
NMIX
like,
fans are going through right now because ITZY just had a comeback and now Giotto and a whole bunch of big groups are having comebacks and then Twice is having their comeback in February. So like
why is JYP doing that to himself?
because ITZY, I believe ITZY, NMIX, and Twice are all in different sub management teams in JYP.
You are correct. You are correct.
Yes,
They're all, it's
so
like they have their own company within the company.
exactly, exactly. So I think I don't think any of the Korean girl groups overlap, but let's say for example, if like Twice and Mix were in the same sub management team, they wouldn't come back at the same time. So they kind of do it like that. But
You're about to get me started
but
on
nowadays,
JYP.
like music show wins, like yes, there'll always be a big deal, especially for like lesser known groups.
Yes.
However, because there's so many big groups, you just have to build your fandom and international fandom and be able to tour because nowadays touring is what's going
It's
to
where the
make you
money
money.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah. But get me started on JYP because I'm like, why did they send Nizu to Korea? They don't know who they are.
And they gotta win though.
Did they? With
Yeah,
I'm
they're
coming down. Da, da,
yes.
da, da,
Oh, I
da.
love that song. Yes.
Me
And they're
too.
the first, I think they won on the
They all
show. Yeah.
Japanese.
First, not just
Bro,
all Japanese, but first like group that has no Korean members to win on a music show.
they really won.
Yep.
They
They
did.
won. It
That's
was the
so
show,
good.
but a win is a win. Or
Okay.
show champion, it was one of those
No.
that are
Oh,
like,
oh. I don't count
like
those.
listen, all I'm gonna say is this. If you're in a K-pop group that never gets music show wins, those
That's where you
wins
go.
count.
Mean
And
something.
they feel yes, because I think Dreamcatcher got their first ever win like 5 or 6 years into the debut on one of those
Mhm.
shows. And you would think because of how big Dreamcatcher is that they would have had a win by now, but no, and they were crying, they were bawling, and it's just one of those things like maybe to like Espa, like those wins mean nothing, but if you don't get wins, then they mean something, you
Just
know.
like Daya and Woo Woo.
Wait,
The
really?
Tanash,
They
yes,
got
that's
a win with them?
they won with Woo Woo, aka Tanasha Ani experience.
Good for them.
I mean, they plagiarized, but yeah, that's all right.
But
Should
for
we talk
Kep1er,
about the contestants that we still keep up with?
Oh, I wanted to talk about their contracts and the
Oh,
renewal that's
okay.
not happening.
Oh, sure. Okay. Yeah. I mean, people keep talking about Hikaru. She's a hot topic currently.
Okay, see, I've been saying since Kep1er debuted, I've been saying Hikaru is not going to join XG. I don't know where that rumor came from, but I believe that it came from the management team of XG or something. They're
Yeah, to
kind of
try to get
using
some
Hikaru's
publicity.
hype, yeah, to get publicity for XG. And I kept saying that, and some of her fans were mad as hell at me, but I'm just like, listen, nowhere has it been verified that she's gonna join XG. But if she does, because at this point, none of the members only Mashiro and Yeso have somewhere to go for sure, but none of the
For
members have
them.
anywhere to go. And I feel like Hikaru fits XG's vibe, and she'll be a valuable asset to the team in terms of like when they are promoting Korea because they do that.
But they kicked her out of the lineup already. There's a video.
Exactly,
There's a
like
video of the manager, like
yes,
it's in the documentary of XG. Like
yes,
Hikaru was 15, and they're like, "Yo, like we know you're talented, but
hmm
like you're not what we need for this team."
hmm
And he's like, "Please don't cry. Like you're great. We just see something else for you." And
yeah,
he said, "We're be ready to be in a new environment."
yep,
And like it's on cam candid, candid camera. It's
yeah.
online for everyone to watch.
This is my opinion though. So I feel like every season of produce, you have to play the game efficiently and know
Yeah.
what's the best thing to do in this moment. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
IOI, the best thing to do would be to wait for them for their contracts to finish and then
Yeah.
either form a group with most of the like which companies I think Kristen and some one of the other companies Gudon had a few IOI or girls who competed in that show, make a group like that
Yes.
or
Yes.
go solo.
Solo. Yep.
In Eyes One, solo, I don't think
Different.
would have been the
That was
smartest
a
thing.
different
Eyes One,
story.
once again, you got to collect as many girls in Eyes One as you can and make a group like
We
La Seraphim did or Produce 48 girls, or do
I've
what I did and don't add too many people that we don't know.
no,
Don't
they
add too
added too
many.
many. It's just
Yes.
they it I did it smart. They're like, y'all two are always going to be in the middle.
And they
There's no
still do
if,
that.
ands, or buts.
Yep.
And after the fifth song we release,
hmm
then y'all other ones can be in the middle and only in the music video. Every cover album, you guys know your positions.
Every time they take a group photo, they're in the same positions.
And
Was it Ive who actually had like a minor scandal? Because I think while they were going to accept the award, I think one of the members and like Won and Eugene were like trying to stand in their place and they were like looking at her like, bro, like I'm center, you're not supposed to be center. Something like that. That was like a year ago though. That
I
was a
bet
while
you it's in
ago.
their contract. I bet you that.
Yeah.
You no, I'm not being mean. I'm legit. Like, do you think Won Young's gonna sit there and be like, okay, so listen, I added this amount of like my contributions had this amount of revenue in Eyes
hmm
One. I know what I'm worth. If I walk out here right now, I'm going to get signed immediately. I want to be in this position of this situation. I
hmm
sing this much amount. I get all the Dior commercials.
I think that also for like going on to Kep1er,
Yes.
probably, and this might be kind of controversial,
Oh, I
but
love it.
but I think the best thing for them to do because of where Kep1er currently stands is the best thing for them to do might be to
Resign.
join. Well, they're not going to resign, so that would be the best thing for sure. But besides that, I think the best thing to do would be most of the members, exception of few, maybe Youngin might go solo. Eugen, I don't know what she's gonna do, but for most of the members, I think the best thing would be to join an already established group. And that's why I think Yeso and Mashiro are going to end up on top because they're definitely going to Limelight. And that's why I think that if Hikaru joined XG, it would be better for her because she's still kind of because they always promote in Korea. They're at
Yeah.
KCON, Japan and KCON LA. You know what I mean? They're
They'll
global
give them
artists.
more cred. Like they'll be more credible. And I feel like it would finally legitimize them in that space
Exactly.
because they like sure Hikaru's not Korean, but she's been in the Korean industry in a Korean company,
Mm-hmm.
and she would have those connections from Mnet to like propel them.
Exactly.
But
Yep.
I feel like Mnet only added XG to their like little roster out of sheer situation due to the numbers because it was like beneficial for XG to be in that space. to get people to go.
Yeah.
But if they didn't, if it was up to them and they could have anybody else, they wouldn't have. Like if 50/50 didn't drop out at that moment, they'd be like,
Well,
we don't need XG.
XG was always going to KCON LA.
Oh, but not in that space.
Yeah, but XG always, they were on the same level of Limelight. They were gonna go and they had the stage, but they weren't supposed to perform at the concert. That's the only thing that they weren't supposed to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think in that situation,
they were comfortable with that.
Oh yeah, I think that's good for them too because they're not Korean. They're not a K-pop group, nor do they have Korean members. So I think that was okay.
Who do you think should be like eyes like LE SSERAFIM and IVE'd out? Like who would you pod together?
Listen, you already know if it was up to me.
But
okay,
they don't know.
Listen, you're right. A lot of things have changed. A lot of things have changed in 2 years. So I'm gonna say this. My current favorite members of Kep1er are Xiaoting, Dahyun, and Hikaru. So if those three could be collected into any group, then I'll be happy.
Ironically, they're the centers of the OOO songs.
Yeah, yeah. And if they can put Chaehyun in there, that's nice too. But I feel like Chaehyun's gonna want to try to do her own thing.
She's gonna glassy out.
Yeah.
They're gonna glassy her.
Yep. And I just don't see, I can see Chaehyun, Youngin, and Yujin doing their own thing. And then the others are kind of like whatever the company will have me do.
I see Yujin very gotten very YouTube, but more active. Like she's not sitting on IZ*ONE money. Like I see her.
Yeah, because Gahan used to be pretty active on her YouTube, and then I feel like
that money hit.
Yes, once that court case ended, and she was like, "This is kind of sweet." She did a little bit of modeling here and there, and now I'm just like, I don't know what she's doing now.
She posts pictures of her eating picnics at a beach park somewhere. There's always a nice sunset. I don't know what she's doing, but I think she's very happy. And God bless her, man. I mean, I think, and this is not a gotten podcast, but if I went through what she went through, and I found out I was number 3, I'd be pretty upset too. I mean, Chuang, to find out she's number 6, that's another piece of, but to find out your number, I mean, any number at all, but number 3?
That's like, yeah.
It's just like, bro, I almost won this. Like, I almost won this. Like, yeah, I won, I was a winner, but I almost like grand prize. And you're telling me that I missed out on all this money? And this is her like final chance?
I think the thing that really gets me upset is that the top like 20 or 22 girls who made it to the finale, at the end of the day, every single one of them fit the concept.
Oh yeah, there's
every single one, and I don't care what people say. Like they're saying she's too old and this chick's nose and blah blah blah. No. Every single one of those girls fit the concept that IZ*ONE had.
Yes.
Every single one. Every single one.
Yep. I mean, if you watch the You're Falling in Love Right stage with basically majority of the girls that didn't get in because there's only like 3 girls missing because the other song that was, I believe, a 17 reject song that they performed, majority of the IZ*ONE girls was in that group, like all the Korean girls except like Hitomi and what Nako, they're in that. But when you watch You're Falling in Love Right, it's very IZ*ONE. It's very, they all fit it. Haewon, Gotten, all the AKB girls, Sakura, like you can see what the vision was, especially in that stage. So you are right. All the girls that didn't get in fit very well. Like, I have my opinions about the casting for Girls Planet. The great casting, they just didn't know what they wanted to do for the group. But I think Produce48, they knew what they wanted. They knew what girls would fit it.
Oh, because they knew they started rigging from the beginning.
And they casted so good. Like, even the ones that they were not going to put in, because you know what, things happen. So they're like, if this girl doesn't get in, okay, this girl, and this girl doesn't get in, then this girl.
Exactly.
Like, again, I don't know why because of the scandal, but I don't know why they just didn't say like, yo, we're doing Produce, but it's not called Produce, and we need y'all back on this team. because I feel like the A&R team, the creative directors, everyone from IZ*ONE just needed to just do Kep1er. I don't understand, but I keep saying it over and over again. But where do you think Bahiyyih and all the others will go?
As far as Bahiyyih, okay, this is the thing. I think Bahiyyih haters are delusional, and I also think her fans are very delusional. I just feel like both sides are full of delusion. And the reason why is just because her fans are saying like, oh, like she has so much talent, she's gonna quickly be picked up by Hybe and blah blah blah. I don't think Bahiyyih absolutely doesn't fit Hybe standards. Absolutely not.
We would have already heard them sign her a while ago. That's like how they signed Sakura in mid IZ*ONE promotions.
If she does get recruited by Hybe, then I will stand corrected, but I just don't see it at all. She will get picked up. I believe she has many people gunning for her because she has a big fan base. It would be stupid, even as a small company, like they'll be asking for her. But I don't see the big four companies gunning for her right now. Absolutely not. I don't know who she signed with because last I remember,
same company, Stacy.
Oh, a Stacy. I think
believe,
that fits her.
Oh no, weekly, which is
worse. it is weekly, yeah. I
which
remember.
Is worse because Stacy is the better weekly. But
weekly is kind of a mess right now.
They fell off. Yeah, they fell off.
That's their own fault because they shouldn't have released a song called Holiday Night on the anniversary of Girls' Generation, but whatever. Ooh. That's another conversation. That's my stand side coming out. It's really not that serious.
Bahiyyih is going to they need to LeSseraFim the heck out of that group. Meaning, they're going to need to pick another popular girl, and then another popular girl, and then one girl that's really talented that's not in K-pop right now, but they need to scout her, and then one girl we don't know. I said the same thing about LeSseraFim, and they did the 6 members, and then that girl had to leave, and it happened exactly. You guys can find it on Twitter. I said we need one girl we know, another girl we know, and like 2 girls we don't know. It's Sakura. And this other girl we don't know, I didn't say this part, but this other girl we don't know needs to be really like spectacular. Mm-hmm. Like she needs to be a boxer. She needs to have some kind of a zing. And she needs to be an ice skater. I don't care. Something that has a hook. You know, like Kazuha with this ballet thing. Like you need to build this around Bahiyyih. Like she's a sweet, right? Then you have to bring some girl from, I don't know, that teenage dream show that didn't work out or something that's really popular.
I mean, there's still some Girls Planet girls too, because every month they're saying Maya's going to be in Triple S, and she's
I don't
know what
she's Myah doing. Would fit very well with the Bahiyyih group. You know, that would be great. And then they need to bring some girl that we already kind of know. You know, they kind of need to Triple S that situation. Like, say what you want about Jaden Jung. I'm probably gonna get tomatoes, but that man is smart. He's like, I don't have to train them. They just got off a show. I just collect them like Infinity Stones. Great.
And they already have a little bit of a fan base.
He's great. I said, I don't have to do anything. I'll take a risk with a few girls y'all don't know. But he was like, Chinese Mayans out there? Snatch. That girl from Same Different? Oh, great. Oh, perfect.
He got Kotane. He got...
He said, you want to do some Luna stuff?
Great. He got another Girls Planet girl, one of the Chinese ones, I think.
I mean, besides Chinese, Nyen Shinmitsu, who I still remember. You don't remember you saying this, but I still to this day laugh at it when you're like, we don't know who Shinmitsu is.
What?
You're like,
was she in the same cell as Bahiyyih?
Yes, yes. We don't know who this person is. We don't know who Shinmitsu is. One of my many of your lines that you said is that to me is so iconic. That's how you said, we don't know who Shinmitsu is. And I'm like, great. I'll remember this forever. She probably heard you say that, and that's why her stage name is Nyen.
Wow.
She was like, that lady really read me my rights. I need to change this up. But he was collecting those girls from Teenage Dream and Girls Planet. Man, but should we talk about the other stuff?
Yeah, the other Girls Planet girls, what they're up to and stuff.
Right. Yeah. Bora is this like always. It feels like she's that girl that's like nominated for a Grammy and Oscar, Tony, and never gets it.
Yeah.
It's like, you're really talented, but you're not getting this.
She made it to the finale of what is it? Girls
Puzzle?
Planet, but Queen of Puzzle, I don't think she made it to the finale, did she? I think
I
all
don't
the
know, but
Cherry Bullet girls were eliminated before the finale for this
you know
one.
she was rigged out of that virtual girl group show, right?
Yeah, but no one's watching that, so no one cares.
Yeah, but the fact they rigged her out and they're like, "Yo, she actually won. Y'all just rigged her out," and everyone's like, "Y'all hear something?"
I think they even confessed to that or like leaked that because it would bring more
More
publicity,
attention
yeah, more
to
attention to
that
it.
failed virtual reality group.
Yeah, I mean, like I know it was fans who figured it out, but you can, plant little seeds here and there for fans to put two and two together.
That's horrible. At least she's doing a lot on Instagram.
Hmm.
I don't know what she's doing, but I feel like she's making some kind of coin.
Yeah,
So good for her.
yeah,
Meanwhile, Manami should have been on Girls on Produce Japan.
yeah. I mean, she might have auditioned, but just didn't get accepted. You know what I
That's
mean?
sad. Her butt should have been right beside RUAN on Summer Dream. What is she not doing?
Like I said, she might have auditioned and didn't get accepted. We don't know unless they say that they
Meanwhile,
tried.
RUAN is over here singing in Thai. I'm like,
Summer
girl,
dream,
go.
summer dream.
I
I'm like,
love that.
okay.
That was like, girl, go for it. And I love that she's center. Remember, I manifested this for her. You guys
Yeah.
can play the tape back. I said I need her center for girls. I mean, for Produce.
Hmm.
It's still kind of produced.
Yeah.
So I mean, it didn't happen how the universe is like, we're still gonna figure this out. I'm manifesting things that are great entertainment wise. I need to manifest things for my life. But cool. Oh, by the way, you and I manifested girls, Produce Japan. We singularly
Yeah.
manifested that. We kept
Yeah.
talking about it so much, it happened. Because I feel like there were boys lined up for season 3 and they kept feeling our universal energy and they're like, yeah,
Hmm.
we're just gonna do girls this season. Sorry, guys. But anyway, back to Girls Planet. So Myah is consistently rumored for Island 2. I
We'll
don't know what's
see.
going
I
on
don't
with
know
that.
where that rumor is coming from, but she's always rumored for a bunch of things. Like if it's
Everything.
not Triple S, it's Island. If it's not Island, it's this. I don't know. We'll
And
see. Everyone just wants to know what she's doing.
right. You know who I want to know what she's doing? The one and only Mona. I need to know what
Mm.
she's doing.
Is she still rumored for Island?
They said she is, and she isn't, and this lady, I love her, but I'm not sure what's going on. She was going to UC Berkeley, and then said, I'm good. I'm just gonna leave." And I'm like, "That's a really great school," and you
Yeah, it
just
is.
left. And then she was in that big hit Japan show, and she was making the rounds, and then she didn't make it through, and then that group fell apart.
What group is that? What show?
The Japanese BTS, not BTS, but the Japanese big hit, like that. Hello, this is Ran, where she was in that
The
group.
Moonshot?
Yes, and then
Yeah,
she got
no, I
kicked
don't like
out,
Moonchild. I
and
didn't know that she was on that show.
she was, she
Moonchild is a
was.
mess anyway, so it's a good thing she didn't debut. And they're flopping. And
Mm.
I think the whole BTS big hit collab thing, I think it's the same way that XG's company was like using rumors to get publicity. Because I think at most, Hybe just contributed like some songs here and there and like sent some trainers or
And they're
something.
like, "You're on your own."
Yeah, but I don't think it was like a collab in the same way that Island is.
Like it wasn't a collab like Dream Academy,
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
because Dream Academy, like they're like, "Oh shoot, we're running late. Can we just have that La Seraphim song? Because that song, girls that love girls that love
That was
girls, get
supposed to go to LE
money."
Seraphim.
Yeah, that was supposed to be done. And thank
Yeah.
God it didn't, because I did
Yeah, no,
not
that
like
that's not a good
that.
song for them.
I don't see myself listening to Sakura. Girls that love girls. I'm like, okay, sweetie. It's just, this doesn't fit what I need from you.
It would be a good B track for LE Seraphim, I think, but definitely not a title track. But
I'm glad it went to where it needed to go.
yeah,
But nevertheless, yeah, it's 2 years and Kep1er's still here and they're almost done. Their contract is almost done. They debuted in 2000 and what? 22? Because
I
Girls Planet was
think so.
2021.
I think
And it's a
so, yeah.
2.5-year contract, so they
Yeah,
are
they
done this
debuted like
year.
early January. That's
They are done
crazy.
this year.
I was hoping they would extend their contract and just so we can see them at KCON just one more time. Like it's just a month extension. It's not bad.
They're
But
not. I mean, they're not going to want to win this situation because they are the only ones that ever got an extension.
they need to at least give Kep1er a world tour because they're talking about ZB1 getting a world tour and it's only been a few months in their contract and Kep1er's has been
I
here for 2 years
We'll
and
see
they
how
have no tour yet. I
we'll
mean,
see
they're
how
stopping in
they
Japan, but
Japan. Yeah, we'll see how that works out because they thought one was just those boys, and they were not selling out tickets in Chicago and those places, and they had to do smaller venues,
oh,
and
101 actually had a
they
tour.
tried. They tried. I don't know
K-pop is
how.
more global now though, and it's
Yeah,
much
they just thought
easier.
they just thought that, oh, they're these boys, like they're killing it in Korea, and they were.
Yeah.
And ZB1 is a big fan. I think ZB1 would kill it in China, but you know how that is in the
I think ZB1 can
situation.
sell out a whole world tour. Like they can come here and they can go to Latin America and they can also go
Oh
to
yeah, Latin America they could
Europe
clear
and
out.
China and like I think they
Yeah,
just go everywhere.
right. I feel like they'll do New York and they do LA and they do
Hmm.
Vancouver and then Toronto, and that's enough for a world tour. And then other people in Middle America, it's like, what's going on? But then you get the Kep1er tour in
Hmm.
like Ohio because they're mid girls, you know. I'm stop. I have to feel like Kep1er has been a wild ride. Like from
Yeah.
Girls Planet to now, what I will say is you never know what you're going to get from them. They are not predictable.
Hmm.
I think someone was predictable, and I loved it. I was like, I'm ready for the next do 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 do. Like I was ready for that next thing. Like honestly, if they released Rodante, I would have still eaten it up. Like if I won
Oh,
themselves,
absolutely.
I would have been like, this is so great. I've never heard this song before. Rodante, do 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 do. I'd be like, wow,
Yeah.
incredible.
But I feel like, excuse me, I feel like repeated sounds and concepts like that worked for Eyes One because it's only a 2-year group. So if
This is
it
yeah.
works, it works. Just keep releasing it. You know what I mean? But if you're
And
doing
they'll
that
take
5 years into
little
your career,
breaks.
that's different. Yeah, the
They'll be
breaks, you know.
they'll be like, okay, we did do 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 already, and we're gonna do it one more time, and then we're gonna do Swan.
Hmm.
But surprise, it's just the same song but deeper. Do do do
Yes,
do do do
I was
do.
about to say that.
Don't be. You know, you think it's new,
Hmm.
and yet they're giving you strength, but it's really do 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 in just a lower pitch.
Hmm.
It actually really is.
I know Kep1er Wake One didn't realize like it works. Like if you find a sound that people like, it's just a 2-year group. It's okay if you keep making the same song. It's just
Just
two
change
years.
it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Like stick
Just
with what's working.
just change it a little bit. Just give us the same thing, and we're
Hmm.
okay.
Hmm.
Change the key. Change it. Just
At a
maybe
dance
just
break, you know, that's why Swan was
that's
nice.
yeah. It was swan swan
Once
swan. Do
exactly.
do 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 do. Dun dun dun. Man, they could have Kep1er could have been something, but they are something. They're just our roller coaster ride. You know what? I'm glad they kept the concept of high stress from Girls Planet to Kep1er because
Wow.
I don't know. I'm just thinking. I'm just like, you know, I was what an emotional roller coaster that show was. And I don't think I will ever get over it because I feel like there are like 5 different groups that could have come out of that show, and we
Hmm.
somehow ended up with this one, and it's just like, where are we going? You got Yeso and like Bahiyyih and like Chaehyun on this other vibe, and you got these girls on this other vibe, and then Young Gun is over here singing when she wants to dance and rap, and it's just like, what is happening?
They figured out what they wanted to do too late. And I
Very late. It's
honestly
like
do think it's just because they were mad that certain girls got in and certain girls didn't get in. They were just mad. I was like, well, suck it up and just make it work and make some
you
money.
know what gets me is this. why didn't they just have A, B, C plan? Like, if these girls get in, we're gonna do this. If these girls get in, we're gonna do this. And if this group gets in, we're gonna do this. I mean, I feel
That's
like, oh, go
probably
ahead.
that's probably what they were doing, and that's why we have WADADA up, We
All
Fresh.
those
You know
songs,
what I mean?
but
Because they got a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and
man, but
but
you
I
know
just feel
what?
like this is how
Okay,
I always feel.
yeah,
K-pop idols are always trained anyways, you know what I
yeah,
mean? That's why I feel like any girl can fit any concept. Now, if you have too much of one type of girl, like if there's too much of a rough girls, you know what I mean? Then
yeah.
obviously they can't do eyes one. But like, there's not too much of anything in Kep1er. There's a little bit of everything, and
That's
they
a
at that
problem.
point it's a problem because they made it a problem. Just stick with one thing and tell everyone this is what you're gonna do now. And if you want something else, it's a B track. But if it's a title track, stick with the one thing.
You're hired. Go work for Wake One. I think they need you.
I wish.
They need help. But man, oh man, I tell you, and I hope that they don't punk out. They need to bring Girls Planet again. We need Girls Planet 2024.
I would be okay
Run that
with
back.
Produce Zero,
That too, but I need redemption.
Girls Planet, yeah. And get rid of the stupid cells, which they already did. I mean, this is the thing. If it's
If
Girls
they bring back
Planet
the cells
2,
just for Girls Planet, I'm done.
if it's Girls Planet 2, it's gonna be rigged like ZB1. So just be
Great.
ready for that. But I will say that I think with ZB1, if they master rigging, then they also are already going in knowing what concept they want. So
Yeah.
at least the group will be cohesive with the sound too.
I think ZB1, I think they already knew, like, we're going to do a pretty boy group because we didn't work, it didn't work out with Kep1er, and everyone kept telling us what to do, and we did what we wanted. So let's try and do what they want. But I think the middle ground was that with that one is we'll do what you guys want us to do, but we get to pick who we want.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll just make you think that you picked them.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Until then, we have
Yeah.
Chuang, Asia.
Oh yeah, summer dream, summer dream.
Mhm.
Dun, 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 dun,
When I saw
dun.
RUAN on stage, and then I saw the name tag, I was like, RUAN? I was like, is that right? I ran to Twitter. I was like, did anyone like, is this RUAN, like the RUAN?
I just
I
want to
was
have a
flabbergasted.
compilation. That is the most funniest thing ever. Because we were like, I'm first off, I messed up her name when I read it the first time. We were like, the Planet Pass girls. And then after we said her name, we're like, who? And then every time we're like, yeah, we're in, she's getting it. And then we're like, you know who should have been in that finale? RUAN. And you know who we ain't vote for? RUAN.
Mhm.
I'm voting for her this time.
Oh, I'm gonna vote for her. She's not gonna be my one pick because now they have a fakey member in there, but I'll be voting for her.
No, she is my one pick. Her and Mike drop, yeah. I'm like, you like, your girl's in there. I was like, which girl? Your girl. And I was like, oh, you mean Ari, whatever. She's like blonde now. And I'm like,
Mhm.
girl. And I was like looking, I was like, what are you, who? I was like, oh, not Mike drop. Not Miss
Yeah.
Mike drop. And you know what's funny? I immediately dropped her out of my votes after that performance.
But we can save that conversation for
For
the
Chuang
Chuang.
Asia. We're so excited. That comes out in February, right?
Yeah, but they'll probably drop the theme song. They already dropped the trainee list. They'll probably drop the theme song soon.
My one problem for that New Year stage is the lighting sucked
Oh, it was
terribly.
so bad. And I didn't
And
like a lot of the camera work either.
and I'm like, RUAN is the center and there's lighting everywhere else but on her. And I get
Hmm.
she's Japanese, but you guys need to like put the light on her. She got that spot for a reason. And I can't
Hmm.
wait to see what she does. And everyone what's funny is I'm in the little RUAN like Instagram, whatever, like commenting because she's still active on Instagram.
Oh, they
And she's
all
like,
are. Everyone on the
it's
show is
like
active.
support me and blah blah blah. And then
Mhm.
someone's like, girl, you should have been on Produce Japan. You are popular, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, they don't accept trainees that have a company. And he's like, well,
Yeah.
she should have dropped that company like Manami. And I was like,
And I mean,
we're
they're
that
right.
we're they are right, but we can't do anything about that. And she reads this. Like, stop writing this on her. She reads this. She has enough English skill to know what you're saying.
I mean, even if she doesn't, there's
Just translate.
translation.
But I'm
Yeah.
just saying the fact that she's like, "Hey guys, please support me," and she like
Mm-hmm.
all the language, and like she knows, she reads, and I'm sure she's heard this enough.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why she hasn't left Kiss, but no, unbeknownst to us, why.
I think that she's okay there because I think that was the company that before they grouped the Kiss Girls, they were giving her a lot of solo stuff like fan meets and stuff like that. So I think she
Right.
was okay with that.
Right. And so for me, it's like I'm not gonna judge your choice on representation because there's a reason that we just don't know. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, remember what's her name? Allie, where she's like, please stop talking about my company. I'm very happy here. So I'm just like, you guys don't,
Mm-hmm.
we should have learned this a long time ago. We don't know what Rand's doing behind the scenes.
You're right. Wait, always behind the scenes. Mm.
I don't think that sounds great.
Mm. No, but we'll be watching her. And like, I mean, there's no hard confirmation that she's center for Chuang, but she was
She's
standing in
center
the
for me.
center. So yeah, we'll
She
see.
got enough screen time for me. And you go on the Chuang Asia page, and she's the icon for that Summer Dream stage. So be
Yeah.
that as it will.
Yep. But as far
But
as Kep1er, I think we said, I don't know, like, is there much else to say? It's been 2 years.
it's been 2 years, and all I'm walking out with is do 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 do. That's about. I mean, to this day, Mask is the most played song I played
Mhm.
like last year and the year before. So that has impact. But that also just tells me that E1 just went in on that song as a producer. So, and he went in on another. What was? I want to shout out like what E1 did on the last song that he worked with them
Yeah,
for.
Kep1er did have another Mask vibe song, like
Yeah,
that type of concept, but I haven't listened to their B tracks on Galileo, so I don't know.
I don't want to play it, but I want to
Which
shout
is
it
weird
out.
because I actually liked
It's
Galileo.
Love on Lock. That is
Oh, okay.
the same producer that did Mask, and everyone's like, "Oh, so like Mask. Mask is still better than Love on Lock,"
Mm-hmm.
but I'm glad that they because I asked, so I'm like, "Can we just get a second, another round on that kind of sound?"
Mm-hmm.
I just wish they just did that as their concept, just like Eyes One, but just in that like that kind
Yeah.
of like digital
Mm.
dancey.
Like
They do it well.
sequence.
Yeah, yes, because he also did sequence.
I can see Kep1er
He
doing sequence too. Like I can't see them doing many Eyes One songs, but I think that they could pull that off.
just like how the producer for Violetta and Fiesta was just kind of like Isaone's go to.
Mm-hmm.
A1 should have been Kepler's go to. Just like Kara in Sweet Tune had a
Oh,
beautiful marriage.
Kara and Sweet Tune, that was heaven. That was heaven. That was a match
it,
made in heaven.
it's okay to have those pairings.
Mm-hmm.
Luna and Monotree, perfect pairing until they switched up and did their own thing, and we already know the story of Luna. But you know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? It is okay to switch up every now and again and have different producers, but it's like Destiny's Child and Dark Child. You don't get any better than that. You get Say My Name, you get Can You Keep Up? I mean, you just know who to go to get your sound correct. But
Mm-hmm.
it's okay because we're not living in that universe where they went in that direction. Kep1er is unexpected, and you never know what you'll get from them. And sometimes they're giddy, and sometimes they're WADADA, and that's
I
okay.
hope that at least with their last song that they go out with a bang. They have a lot of haters, so I'm hoping that at least their last song is good before their world tour, you know?
I mean, people are gonna be upset at this. Kep1er is honestly just the reincarnation of CLC, and I say this because it's so funny. When CLC did Hobgoblin and everybody in America loved it, their comeback after that was Where Are You? And
And I don't know why they did that.
I loved it. I was like, they're saying fuck you to the fans. They're
I don't
saying
know why they did that. I personally didn't like Hobgoblin because I felt like they,
it,
I mean, because I think 4 Minute must have just disbanded and they only renewed Hyuna's contract. So it felt like
what
a
they said
rejected
was
4 Minute song.
they said Hyuna. they wanted a Hyuna concept, and they actually worked with Hyuna for that
I mean,
album.
yeah, I remember watching the behind the scenes. Hyuna was there working with them, but I just didn't like it. I don't think it was a good song. I don't think Hobgoblin is a good
I
song. It's
didn't like. I
okay.
mean, Hobgoblin. That was my first KCON 2017 when I was like a kid, and like I was like, what in the world? And I was like, did Hyuna make another song? I was like, oh, it's not Hyuna, it's CLC. I'm like, who was a CLC? But their B track, Meow Meow, A plus. They even made her sound exactly like Hyuna when she's like, oh, and I'm like,
My
perfect.
problem with CLC though is that I don't know. Okay, because they dropped 4 Minute
Yeah,
because they weren't. I mean, they had somewhat of a local fan base, but it was mostly just Hyuna. And then
right.
they just gave CLC the same song that Koreans didn't like, but international fans like. So I'm just like, if you're going to do that,
Yeah,
then
do the
stick
ones that they
with
like.
that. You know what I mean? Just stick with building the international fan base. And
But
like,
you know
if it
what's
was
funny?
me, hmm?
They debuted with the song Pepe, which is so
Yeah.
super sweet.
Oh, I love that song.
I think that's why they did like some and did the sweet sugar vanilla. But then like some got an eyes one reject track. So anyway. Nevertheless, I know you want something good for Kep1er, but it's not in Kep1er's nature to do that. They need to give us
They'll
our
just
where are
do
you?
something.
They need to give us our where are you? And I hope they bait and switch us so hard. Like give us the teasers or super hobgoblin, and then the music video comes out and it's floral, and everyone's like,
I
wait,
think you're
where?
kind of quiet. I don't know if you're
Who,
like
me?
far from your mic. Yeah.
Hello, am I back?
Yeah, because I just realized I kept turning up my volume like over the
Oh,
time of the
oh my gosh, I'm
podcast.
sorry. I'm making your job hard for editing.
I'm not gonna edit all that. That's too much. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Nevertheless, I'll hold the mic. But what I was saying was, I hope that they bait and switch us really hard. Like, I hope that it's like super harsh and they were like, oh my gosh, you're gonna be baddies. And then they like throw the baddie outfit away. And it's just like dresses and it's just, I don't know. I don't know why I want people to be mad, but it's in Kep1er's nature to never have us knowing what they're going to do.
Yeah, and I feel like at this point, like the fans, I don't see fans asking for specific concepts. I see them
No.
asking for things like more lines for this person, and I want this person in the dance break because they should have been in it, and this and this. And I'm just like, you guys don't even care about the music. You just want, and that's
You
the
just
issue
want
with some
these.
of these shows
Mm-hmm.
when you're voting and you can only vote for one, you become a solo stand. So it's like that. Like Chaehyun fans like, we want her center, and we need Bahiyyih to get more lines, and Yujin should have
Yep.
been in the dance break. She's a main dancer and blah blah blah. Like, what about the music?
You know what's funny? IZ*ONE fans were exactly like that until we had our like hiatus and everyone's like, all right, listen,
We just want them back.
we just want them back. We can hold off. And they will disband and we can
Mhm,
pick that mess up afterwards. And I
mhm.
think at that point, no one was acting up at that point. Because I was a fan that was acting up. You can go back on old IZ*ONE videos and I'm like, Sakura, you're the center always. And I'm
You're sick.
I was, and I didn't care. I was like, you can be in the corner now, and I know where you are. I know your real rank. And then as soon as the disbandment, or I mean the hiatus happened, we're like, all right, listen, look. We know they're rigged. But we still want the rest of that music. So we got to figure this out. And then we thought we were screwed because like Knowing Brothers Fiesta Dance leaked, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, please stop! Don't leak the song." Someone in China, I translated some Chinese person's comment, like, "Don't drain the Fiesta," and I quoted that comment for weeks. I said, "Please don't drain my Fiesta." But anyway, I feel like there need to be something to bring Kep1er fans together,
Mhm.
but I think that like team for Kep1er didn't help in making that happen.
Yeah, I don't know if the Kep1er members themselves helped. First of all, the fan base is divided.
Yes.
And then Wake One doesn't even like Kep1er. They don't like Bahiyyih, and they have favorite members in Kep1er, and they're playing around with things too much. And then Kep1er themselves, I think, clearly don't
Don't
vibe
like.
with each other. Like,
Yes.
I don't know if it's just me, but sometimes I feel like Youngin doesn't like Bahiyyih, and Bahiyyih, I think, also made a side comment, like thanking specifically her fans, I think, for being her fans. And I was just like, that's not the kind of things that you say when you're in a group. I have to see if I can find what it was, because I think it was a
But
few months ago.
if your contract is ending soon and your
Hmm.
group has been giving you a lot of headache, I not that it's um professional, but I can't blame her
Hmm.
for doing that. And sorry for my audio, guys. I was away from the mic a little bit, so I'm holding it to make it a little better. But nevertheless, I think we said everything we needed to say about Kep1er.
Yeah, we'll see what happens the last 5, 6 months.
Man, and they're going to replace them with some other Produce Planet show. They have
Mm,
to, because they like holding a space in that music landscape.
yeah,
I mean, ZB1's only going to be here for 2.5 years.
yeah. I kind of like what Produce has done to the K-pop industry too,
Yeah.
and I feel like it's just like showing more girls more potential, and a lot of like it's almost building a story too,
Mm-hmm.
like if Ive had just debuted as Ive, I probably wouldn't care for them, but
No.
they have the story of like the Produce 48 members and Le Seraphim. Like I mean during Produce 48 I was obsessed with Yunjin. I wanted her in Eyes One,
Mm-hmm.
and then now I'm seeing her in Le Seraphim. I'm just like, whoa, this is like this is a story. Like we're following along with someone's life story right now. Like we're witnessing multiple events with people.
Like, and then her talking about her working with the Ice One girls, and I'm just
Hmm.
like, yeah, definitely. I
Yeah,
think that it's really good, and I hope. I mean, I think it helps the industry in a big way, not just Mnet, because then these companies have these little stars that they can build something off of.
I also think it's good for the girls who are participating, even if they don't
Sure,
make it even past the first round. They're getting experience, media
they
experience, and they're getting trainings and
exposure,
things,
yeah,
exposure. Yeah, they're getting a lot from this, even if it's not the best. Sometimes, like you get your screen time cut or like obvious favoritism, things like that. You're getting exposure is something. It's 100 girls. That's hard to get. Like the trainee system, like for individual companies, I mean, everyone's different, but I know like SM is super picky with everything. Some people they can't even put their like get their foot in the door. So I feel like with Produce, even though it's only 100, probably out of like tens of thousands, it's something.
and look how it worked out for Chaehyun. She was cut out the lineup for aespa, and she was able to pivot and make this happen for herself. I'm sure
Exactly.
it's and I'm sure she's, she wishes probably she was an S, but I mean, who wouldn't, right? But at least she has this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And most people, we don't even know. We also know certain people didn't make it into S, but what's her name? Suki from Billy was training with them for a while too.
And I
So
think one of the Chuang girls was training with them a little bit too. There's like a half
yeah,
Korean, half something.
somebody in there, right? So I mean, these shows really do give these boys and girls opportunities that wasn't around for a while, and
Mm-hmm.
the landscape of K-pop has changed. I mean, back in 27, 8, 9, whatever, these smaller companies can build out these groups, and we will like them because it was not a lot of groups like Teen Top and all these groups, like smaller groups. I mean, even Sistar, we didn't know who Starship was. Starship, and now because of all these shows, they're able to actually build something. So it's gonna be exciting to see what happens in the next 6 months. And
Mm-hmm.
support Limelight, support um what Lapalus, support all the other groups that are coming out for these girls. Triple S. I mean, support Kep1er, um, Wu Tammy, Mona. I mean, all these girls. Support RUAN on Chuang, Asia, Thailand, please. She needs
Surichi,
our
she's
vote.
solo now. She has a lot of
Oh,
fans in
Surichi, yeah,
Japan.
support her. She's really active in Japan. And uh, what's her name? Urena.
Oh, right.
She, I don't. She did a song recently, right? But my favorite song from her is Ziggy Ziggy, My Heartbeat. With these random girls, I don't know who the heck they are, but I like that she made a song that I enjoy. But
Hmm.
nevertheless, this has been us, and we're so happy to be able to, for me to actually say, and we have lift off. I haven't said that in such a long time. So we're so grateful to have you guys, get to know us through these projects. And we're so looking forward to another year of amazing podcasts, talking about Chuang, potentially Island 2 if it actually ever comes out. And fingers crossed, by the second half of the year, we'll be back to saying we have liftoff. This is Girls Planet Podcast, the Planet Guardian podcast. So
I hope so.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We love you guys so much. And you know, oh, oh, oh. Thank you guys so much. We love you. Bye.